Welcome to Lenbachhaus. Herzlich willkommen im Lenbachhaus.
Herzlich willkommen zu unserem Symposium Gruppendynamik, Kollektive der Moderne. Welcome to our Symposium Group Dynamics, Collectives of the Modernist Period.
Welcome to Lenbachhaus. Welcome to our Symposium Group Dynamics, Collectives of the Modernist Period. Thank you very much to all speakers, to the German Federal Cultural Foundation and all participants of this project.
Wir freuen uns sehr, dass Sie hier sind. Wir bedanken uns bei der Kulturstiftung des Bundes, die uns in dem ganzen Projekt unterstützt haben. Daraus wird auch noch eine große Ausstellung entstehen.
Welcome to our online symposium. As you know, it should have taken place in person, but things came otherwise. Thank you to all the participants and speakers for contributing with their talks. Very happy we can present the symposium online.
Das Symposium ist wichtiger Bestandteil unseres gleichnamigen Ausstellungs- und Rechercheprojekts Gruppendynamik, das 2021 in 2 Ausstellungen münden wird. Die Beiträge der Referentinnen und der Austausch mit ihnen sind wichtiger Bestandteil unserer Recherche.
The symposium is part of our research and exhibition project Group Dynamics, which will mount in 2 exhibitions opening in 2021. The contributions and the exchange of ideas with our speakers are of great importance for our research.
And last but not least, thank you to the German Federal Cultural Foundation for making all of this possible.
The project Group Dynamics, the Blue Rider and Collectives of the Modernist Period is part of the program Global Museum, Collections of the 20th Century from a Global Perspective, initiated by the German Federal Cultural Foundation. As the foundation states on its website, in recent years, the discourse on contemporary fine arts and modernism has increasingly focused on non-European art trends and will continue to be influenced by non-Western artists, curators and theorists in the future. With its program, Global Museum, the Federal Cultural Foundation aims to strengthen this shift in global thinking and, following the example of institutions in the international and German museum landscape, encourage museums to redefine their collections from a non-Western perspective. In light of how strongly our society is influenced by globalization, migration, and transculturalism, it is essential that art museums participate in shaping these developments and internationalize their collection, research, and exhibition practices even more distinctly than before. The Federal Cultural Foundation is funding projects by the Kunstsammlung Nordrhein-Westfalen in Düsseldorf, the Nationalgalerie Staatliche Museen zu Berlin, the MMK Frankfurt, and the Lenbachhaus Munich, which examine the history of modern art from a global perspective. The purpose is not so much to reveal the shortcomings of the past, but rather to develop a new and complex profile of the respective collections and present a view of what the future of the museums might look like. The results of over more than 3 years of logistics and research culminated in new presentations of the respective institutions' collections beginning in 2017. They include the museum's permanent and special exhibition programs as well. All 4 museums depart from their respective collections and seek to put them into productive dialogue with artistic production worldwide. The MMK, Museum für Moderne Kunst Frankfurt am Main, in cooperation with the Museo de Arte Moderno de Buenos Aires, developed the exhibition A Tale of Two Worlds, presenting central works of the MMK collection in an intensive, fruitful dialogue with key works of Latin American art. Das Staatliche Museen zu Berlin, Hamburger Bahnhof, Museum für Gegenwart created a retrospective vision in their exhibition Hello World, Revising a Collection. The research activities of the Kunstsammlung Nordrhein-Westfalen Düsseldorf concentrated on global art between 1910 to 1960, presenting an exhibition titled Museum Global, Micro-Histories of an Eccentric Modernism.
The Lenbachhaus's research project is titled Group Dynamics, the Blue Rider and Collectives of the Modernist Period, and will mount in 2 exhibitions on view at Lenbachhaus between 2021 and 2022. After a heated debate in which the antagonists almost came to blows, Wassily Kandinsky, Franz Marc and Gabriele Münter resigned from the Neue Künstlervereinigung München, New Artists Association Munich, on December 2, 1911. A mere 2 weeks after the confrontation, they and their fellow dissenters mounted a counter-exhibition at Galerie Tannhauser in Munich. Alongside their own art, they presented works by August Macke, Robert Delaunay, Elisabeth Epstein, David and Vladimir Burjuk, Arnold Schönberg and Henri Rousseau. The presentation's full title, The First Exhibition of the Editorial Board of Der Blaue Reiter, made explicit reference to the Almanac project. This programmatic yearbook would establish the Blue Rider as one of the first transnational artists' circles.
2 interconnected exhibition projects at the Lenbachhaus Munich will showcase the museum's outstanding collection of Blue Rider art in dialogue with modernist artist collectives from all over the world. Starting around 1900, a startling multitude of collective processes and group formations among artists came into being. In exhibitions and writings, they articulated shared aesthetic stances and their determination to bring about intellectual, spiritual, and social change. A close examination of the phenomena of collective and group dynamics can spur a fresh discussion of categories such as authorship and artistic autonomy, bringing into focus as a communal process and vigorous debate. The artists who came together in the Blue Rider Circle regarded art as a universal language. The whole body of work we call art, they wrote, knows neither borders nor nations, but only humanity. Their imagination was constrained by the colonial global order before the First World War. Therefore, despite their good intentions, they did not succeed in implementing an emancipatory praxis of art beyond national affiliations and traditional hierarchies or genres. Still, their credo implied that all cultural production was ultimately of equal rank, and this idea is at the heart of the Lenbachhaus's undertaking. Instead of staging the history of styles or aesthetics as a succession of expressions of rivaling tendencies, our exhibition will shed light on the development of collectives and their historical contexts, reconstructing their political agendas and visions, both practicable and in some instances utopian. Traces of collective labor may be found in manifestos, exhibitions, periodicals, collaborative creations, newly founded schools, and agitation efforts. The period we have chosen, from around 1900 to 1970, spans both the inception of plural modernization movements and, at its other end, processes of decolonization and the emergence of new nations.
Groups are propelled by steadfast loyalties and irreconcilable ruptures. Their dynamic is unpredictable. Collaboration, discussions, conviviality, rivalry, friendship, open-mindedness, inclusion, dissociation, wariness, controversy, love, polemics, and enthusiasm are characteristic features of the lives of groups. They provide us with one possible model for an understanding of art that is not grounded in the individual. Art does not come into being in a vacuum. It grows out of exchanges of ideas and social interactions. The International Symposium Group Dynamics, Collectives of the Modernist Period, offers the opportunity to exchange ideas with renowned experts and prepares the ground for an exhibition and an accompanying publication of the same title, scheduled for 2021. It is designed to appeal both to an academic audience and to the interested public.
The symposium's purpose is to share recent research about widely diverse collectives of the Modernist period and the ways in which entrenched narrative patterns and modes of presentation inform the work of art historians and curators. We would like to broaden and deepen our knowledge in conversation with the invited speakers. We wish to learn more about artists, movements, and discourses whose significance, though undisputed among scholars, remain largely obscure to broader audiences. Accordingly, the lectures turn the spotlight on selected artist groups worldwide. The speakers will examine the collective's particular motivations, their specific modes of practice and forms of expression, the historical and political contexts in which they emerged, as well as the influence these groups and movements exerted on the subsequent evolution of the art of their time and place. We hope that the symposium will help initiate lively discussions about the dynamic processes within groups and collective practices, and so also prompt a critical revision of established categories such as authorship, autonomy, and canonical aesthetics.
The speakers of the symposium are addressing the following topics. Salah Hassan, whom we invited for our keynote, speaks about modernity and collective approaches to dealing with questions of identity, nation, and aesthetic vocabulary in the newly independent Sudan, starting off with the Khartoum School in 1960.
In their joint talk, Samina Iqbal and Zera Jumaboy speak about parallels and paradoxes when comparing the activities of the Progressive Artists Group and the Lahore Art Circle in post-partition India and Pakistan in the late 1940s and early 1950s.
Speaking about New Measurement, a Beijing-based artist group active in the late 1980s and 1990s, Carol Liu discusses the group's localization in an emerging conceptual art scene in China and the artist's lasting impact on it.
Murad Muntazami is presenting the collective activities of the artists and writers leading the Casablanca Art School and their localization in Morocco's post-independence artistic scene and a local as well as transnational avant-garde.
Harper Montgomery concentrates on dynamics between collective artistic movements within a South-South network between Buenos Aires, Mexico City, Havana, and Lima in the 1920s.
Noriko Murai examines various artists, groups, and circles in early 20th century Japan. She proposes to shift the focus to questions of group formation and collective processes to enable new interpretations of transnational coordinates and flows of artistic trends and their adaptations.
Lena Naumann introduces two collective forms of artistic production in Oshogbo in the 1950s and 60s, who are considered well established within the discourses on modernity in Nigeria.
Teresa Riccardi comparatively links the strategies of collective artistic practices and performative responses in times of crisis, forging a bridge between Argentina's artistic and literary scenes within their political circumstances in the 1920s, 2001, and today.
Nada Shabut introduces a new school of painting, focusing on the Baghdad group of modern art, formed in 1951, and its central role in inventing a specific modern visual identity in Iraq.
Ahe Wang, who herself was part of Wumeng, aka No Name, a group of painters active in China in the 1970s, offers insights into other modernism and other collectives, examining underground collectives during China's Cultural Revolution.
This symposium was originally scheduled to take place at the Lenbachhaus in Munich in April 2020. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to move it to the digital realm at short notice. We would like to thank all invited speakers for their willingness to participate in the symposium in this new format and brave the various technical challenges and limitations this has entailed. We are enormously pleased and grateful for their diverse contributions, which are of great value for our own research. Still, we should not trivialize its negative impact. We were unable to convene at the museum. The exchange of ideas and the personal encounter between all contributors and the active participation of our visitors, as well as the workshops we had originally envisioned, did not take place. We hope to make up for the partial cancellation and are working on new event formats that will allow for a sustained, close and personal engagement between the speakers, the museum's audience, and us in conjunction with the opening of the exhibition in the fall of 2021.
We would like to thank the German Federal Cultural Foundation, which has provided funding for the project Group Dynamics, the Blue Rider and Collectives of the Modernist Period, as part of the program Global Museum. We have worked closely with the Foundation's Hortensia Völkers, Uta Schnell, Friederike Tappe-Hornbostel, Julia May and Anja Petzold, and are grateful for their invaluable support and eagerness to find practicable solutions in unexpected situations.
Needless to say, we owe gratitude to the entire team of Lenbachhaus, who has been involved in this project in a wide range of functions, developing 2 exhibitions in addition to the symposium. The team of curators behind the Group Dynamics project drew up the plan for the symposium. Our particular thanks go to Elisabeth Giers, Sarah Henn and Karin Althaus for preparing and realizing the symposium, and to Susanne Böller, Annegret Hoberg, Eva Huttenlauch, Matthias Mühling, Anna Stadtmanns and Stephanie Weber for the expert advice. Martina Oberprantacher, Clara Leila, Abid Alstar and Charlotte Kosemans of the Art Education Department provided valuable assistance, as did Claudia Weber and Jacqueline Seliger at the Communications Department, who oversaw the digital implementation, and our Head of Technical Services, Andreas Hofstetter.